pushing teams like many have been unable to do. Now, of course, they still only have one game under their belt. We have to push aside the ifs, the what-ifs, the maybes, the could-haves. This is their position. They need to find another win. They've chosen to keep Rest in. And they're going to move to the red side once again. They're going to look to try and give him that counter pick.
Red side with a 100% win rate in this series. AL won 2 games on it, CFO won a game on it. Then AL selected blue side. And now CFO are once again on the red. Caitlyn and Victor bans. Last time we saw Caitlyn, Leona, Nocturne from AL when they're on the blue side. Vi already removed. We're commonly seeing the Pantheon and the Varus taken away by CFO on red.
Okay, we are getting very deep into these pools now. This is where some of the crazy stuff starts to come out. Of course, Vi and Pantheon, just 2 very strong junglers on the patch. Of course, you want to take those away. That just makes the jungle pool that much closer. The Scion's still going to be removed, even though it's Rest. K'Sante is the champion you've got to be cautious of against Rest. He didn't bring it out in the last game, but with Gwen gone, I mean, Jax would immediately be the champion you think about as a solid answer, but there's always possibly Ambessa as well. The CFO fans coming out in force.
And loud voice here as well. When CFO was starting to bounce back in that game, you could hear the audience here, really an ignited electricity amongst them. Same bans for CFO as they'll get rid of the Varus as their final ban. Nocturne let through alongside the Leona from anyone's legend. Jace is their first pick.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it out there. Malphite is an option. Now, the thing that I don't like Ornn, do you remember
when Rest played Ornn last at MSI, it was awful.
Doran, yeah. Yeah, Doran just solo killed him like twice.
Well, he itemized wrong and he leveled up the wrong abilities, according to Ornn players that I have talked to about it. Right. So it would be a surprise if we see the Ornn again. Definitely Driver's wheelhouse. Aurora locks in instead for Honkyu.
Now in that same series, I don't know if you guys remember Honkyu's Aurora, but he was popping off when they were playing against T1. He's very comfortable on the pick. Again, so I throw out things like Malphite. Shen is also a possibility. K'Sante, I think, is also fine. Like, obviously rough early, but he will get to a point where he's just, I'm K'Sante. Yep. So,
it's one of Rest's most played.
Okay. I like this for Ginger.
So much AoE already coming out from them with the Between Worlds and the Cataclysm. Leona is available as well if you want to add a Solar Flare on top of that.
True. With Braum and Alistair gone, like, it would be Rakan into Leona, which is fine. Ooh, Silas for Shanks. I do like this for him. We know him as a playmaker. Gets his hands on a champion like this and he can do some serious work. Of course, the matchup is rough early on. But a couple of good ganks can very much change the dynamics. Instead, they're prioritizing their AD carry. Now, Tahm Kench, oh, nope, they're just going for the mid laner, all right. So Tahm Kench, valuable ban.
Really valuable ban here for CFO to make sure they can actually get on that backline. A lot of range as well for AL already with the accelerated shock blast, with Jinx with her rockets. It's going to be very difficult.
Thinking about it, do you really want to give it a Silas as well? I don't like it. I'm sure he feels confident in this matchup, which is fine, but picking it into the K'Sante, into the Silas specifically, I think is a rough one, and I prefer this more. Not only do we know Rest to be a very good K'Sante, and when your back's against a wall in a series like this, playing Comfort I think makes a lot of sense. It also just like, it doesn't give Silas another good ultimate to steal.
That's always the problem when you have an early Silas. Yes, you can build your composition around the fact that there's a Silas on the enemy team, but you also are just pigeonholed in the champions that you want to pick. I mean, the reason you didn't pick a Malphite here is the fact there's a Silas on the enemy team, right? The hardest counter in League of Legends, no matter what lanes they're in as well. Silas can be mid, Malphite can be top, and it's still an incredible counter. CFO on the same page as you, though, Vedi, as they get rid of the Tahm Kench here in that second phase.
Start pinching that AD carry pool.
That's what AL should do.
Caitlyn's already taken away. So Sivir, another one that you should consider getting rid of.
Aphelios.
Oh, Doggo's Aphelios. Yeah, especially if AL is thinking about Jinx Lulu. Because range supports now, they're very high on the priority list, right? So Draven going to be taken away from Doggo. I very much agree with you. The Aphelios should be considered. I mean, I forget what season it was, but Jinx Aphelios was the meta for God knows how long.
Years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. The 200 years.
And I can tell you right now, Doggo played in that meta. If you guys didn't get to see his Aphelios game, it was, I mean, EU fans can remember that one for a while.
I've tried to block it out of my memory, I'm going to be honest. There's a Sejuani ban by CFO, trying to get rid of a non-committal engage source from AL, and also a tank that they could play in the jungle. Obviously, the Glacial Prison, the ability just
also
to chuck that out at people.
The melees synergizing with the Sejuani as well. Good pairing. All right, so what will the final ban be here? Is it a Civet? Is it an Aphelios? What are they thinking? Kalista
also making a way through picks and bans here. Hasn't had a great time at MSI. I don't think you'd want to pick it into the Jinx either, but I'm just putting it out there because it is so often highly prioritized when it comes to draft.
The thing is, if you lock in Aphelios now, if they don't go Lulu, you could just do Lulu yourself.
But you could go Thresh first and then go the Aphelios second.
Blood.
Well,
so because AL could just do Blitzcrank, that's why, yeah. Yep.
So the reason Blitzcrank is great into Thresh is Thresh's hook CCs himself. So if he throws out a hook, you can just hook in response and you pull him in.
Yep, this is what I was worried about. This is why I preferred the Aphelios first pick, because then you could have responded if a hook champion comes out on the other side. But yeah, all right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Maokai. I mean,
it does everything
you
want it to do.
Never go wrong with a Maokai.
Yep. Gives you zone control, allows you to control those neutral objectives really well, and is a tank, which is really what AL are looking for, someone on that front line. Also, the saplings.
Tanky this game rather than AP.
Also, the saplings give you vision for the hook. Ashe currently the hover for CFO. Long range pick potential, really good with the Jarvan, with the Thresh.
It's a bit scary versus Maokai.
I mean, Doggo playing Kog'Maw, if he doesn't use the Corgi skin would disappoint me, I'll be honest. But it is going to be Sivir instead.
I mean, so I prefer this more into the Blitz.
Yeah.
Because you do have that spell shield available to you, right? Which makes it that much harder to lock you down. Also, silent. I mean, actually, spell shield's so good into this comp, isn't it? Like, you can spell shield Zap, you can spell shield traps from Jinx, you can spell shield the hook, you can spell shield Sylas, the Maokai ultimate, and Shock Blast. So
you can actually spell shield every ability in the game, buddy.
Okay, thank you. I was highlighting the important abilities that are worth spell shielding, okay? CFO, pretty straightforward. Front to back comp.
Yep.
It's not really more complicated than that. Jarvan goes in, Sivir presses R, and it becomes a question. And AL have something similar. They have a lot more side lane options because both Shanks and Flandre, you can play more of a 1-through-1 style. You do have a lot of poke. The zap that comes through from the Jinx along with the poke that comes from the JCQ. So there's while still having good team fighting, of course. So I would say that AL's composition has a little bit more flexibility, but I think that CFO's comp has more early game agency. I think that Jarvan in combination with Aurora is just a very powerful mid-jungle 2v2 in the early game. Maokai can't really compete against that, and Sylas will take a little bit to ramp up, especially if they go for the Rod of Ages build that we've been seeing a lot recently.
I think for the Maokai, it's all about being able to dodge the flag and drag with a twisted advance or dodge away from some of that early CC as we get into Game 4 here between Anyone's Legend and CFO. In a series that a lot of people predicted would end in a quick 3-0 for AL, CFO has shown that they are not here to be a punching bag. So consistently through this MSI, they have surprised expectations, and even though they continue to be the underdog, I think Doggo has shown just how much an underdog can do.
I mean, so at first stand, when they competed and they started winning a bunch in the group stages, the conversation was, well, a bunch of the other teams are jet-lagged, people are underperforming, right? Like, there was what I would define as excuses, right? It was very much a other team doing bad rather than necessarily CFO doing good. And then what do? They push KC to 5 games, right? And that intense best of 5, very close to securing a spot in the finals of first stand, which would have been absolutely massive for them. They fall short. Then they come to MSI. People are now talking them out a little bit more, right? A little bit more optimistic. But of course, you always have to be careful because dominating the LCP doesn't always translate to the international stage. And so even though they did have a very good spring, does that necessarily mean that you're going to perform well at MSI? Let me tell you, they have done. Pushing T1 to the full 5 games, knocking out Koi, and now here against AL, they were so close to being 2-1 up in this series. They're a team that has showcased an insane level of potential. The skill ceiling on their individual members is incredible. And again, while we do see some mistakes at times, by and large, they are very consistent and they are a good team. We'll see if they can bring us to a 5-game against AL, the #1 seed from the LPL. A tournament favorite, mind you.
AL taking Gen G to 5 games last week. And what I love for CFO is it's kind of this mix of old and new blood as well. You know, you've got Reston Driver and Honkyu, who we haven't seen too much on the international stage, and then you've got Doggo, who was so good he went to the LPL and then struggled there. You've got Junja, who has been the face of the LCP for God knows how long, and Kaiwing, who just passed 100 games on the international stage, only the 32nd player to ever do that. As Shanks is feeling the pain against this Aurora. It's so tricky for the Silas. He's gone for that Doran shield. Hook from Kaiwing does not connect, but the Boomerang Blade does on Kyle. He's got a biscuit and a pot, so he'll be happy enough in this lane.
Yeah, that mid lane matchup is definitely a rough one. For now, though, it's CFO with pushing mid, pushing bots. Jarvan on the bot side of the map as well. You could look for both a mid dive. Bot dive might be a bit ambitious with the HP bars that we're seeing, especially this early on. CFO could consider an early swap.
They definitely could. Push in, get that Jace a little bit behind. I do think the Cassante will obviously struggle a little bit more in the 2v1. The Jace having that range, but Cassante much better with low econ. So the hook is going to hit onto Kyle. It's more for poke than anything else. Down to 200 HP as Kyle walks forward. Good spell shield from Doggo into the Lantern. Pops the emote as well. He just walks away. Junja looking for the flank here, Vedi.
That dive that was a little ambitious earlier, looking very realistic right now. Doggo doesn't have much mana, but the Maokai's on the top side of the map.
Junja spotted on vision.
Here we go.
Tarzan a mile away. Kaiwing looking for that hook. Junja steps forward. Hook's going to land onto Kyle. He's pulled back. Played. And first blood goes to CFO. Tarzan looking for the flank here onto Honkyu in the mid lane. Kaiwing surviving towards the bottom side. Hope electing not to go any further as they get the twisted advance in the mid lane onto Honkyu. Shanks looking for the damage, but doesn't have a huge amount of mana. The twofold hex might be enough from Honkyu here. He flashes over the wall in the voice. Bramble Smash gets the auto down. The sapling will send him to his grave, but in a 2v1, he finds the kill. Tarzan knocked up by Junja. No red buff on him, though, so I don't think he's going to chase any further.
CFO in game 4. Continue to play as they often do with nothing but confidence. The push in mid, the push in bot. Honkyu, we said what he was capable of doing on this champion, and he shows it to us once more. 2 kills to their name already. A small gold lead, but look at that. A 9 CS advantage in the 1v1. We look back at this play. A beautiful hook connects from Kaiwing, and I mean, that's just certain death guaranteed. They don't even have to manage the tower aggro. Meanwhile, in mid, Honkyu, he sees the Maokai, he's doing what damage he can onto Shanks. But the thing is, once these cooldowns have been used, they don't have anything left. Meanwhile, the auto attacks are still stacking on the passive of Shanks. And so Honkyu pops the health pot, which is super valuable, flashes over the wall. They lose vision. The Observer's shoulders right there, buying him that extra bit of time to land that last auto. And the coaching staff elated as they should be.
This guy's 18 years old, Vedi. This guy is 18 years old and making a name for himself in the LCP and now on the international stage. Both the bot lanes have swapped up to the top side. Teleport coming out from both Rest and Flandre to go down towards bot. Flandre actually going for the cull here as Honkyu turns the damage back down onto Shanks, gets that electrocute proc, and will force him low. Honkyu about 2 minions away from hitting level 6 here. Shanks does still have his flash.
The swap that we were talking about coming through. Well, it's already come through, I should say, from Hope and Kyle, but now the Sivir looking to match on the top side. Another swap is going to happen from Hope as they... there we are. Look, you can see the Jinx sitting on the minimap, going to path back towards the bot side, so they're trying to avoid this 2v2. Oh, I might stand corrected. Now that Sivir's been spotted, looks like they want that 2v2. Oh, big ulti drop from Honkyu, chipping away at Shanks. That's going to be a TP into the mid lane from the Blitzcrank as Kaiwing sets his sights on bot.
Flandre needs to be careful here, because there's the Lantern, there's the play. Flandre, he was looking for the prediction flag on the death sentence, but it's still enough. Kaiwing will take the kill. CFO will claim the feat of strength, or the feat of warfare, as they pick up the first 3 kills of the game and a 1,000 gold lead here, Vedi. Flandre,
Patient with the flash, but it's not enough against Junja. Beautiful EQ flash combo to still get that knockup. And CFO secured their 3rd kill of the game. You can feel the momentum quickly shifting the way of CFO. In this early game, they need to keep things going. Vision going to be lost around the Dragon. The 280 carries matching on the top side. Honku got to get away. Kael's fishing.
Veil. Kael will land the hook onto Honku, but a great winning! That bopper was insane!
I didn't know you could do that. That was sick from Honku. He avoids the hook, and now Kaiwing knows Hope is isolated.
Doggo has that level 6 as well, the on the hunt for a chase potential. Hope has barrier, but no flash as they go on the hunt. The Flame Chomper's down, Kaiwing will land the hook again, and all hope might be lost. He survives, Kaiwing can't tank up any more tower shots up towards that top side. Kael on his way across as well. Ooh, Shanks going between worlds, stolen away that ultimate, but just can't land the chains. Honku, with his fancy feet, continues to dodge and dance away. The twofold Hex pulled back won't be enough to chunk out Shanks.
Nice trading there from Shanks. Hope did use the rocket in the top lane as well. Doesn't actually find a pick though. Base is going to come through from CFO. They don't get the barrier out from Hope, which is what I think CFO is looking for. Knockup going to come through. Kyle knows it's not really worth trying to connect the hook. Another wave going to be pushed in though. And that is a very healthy lead for Doggo, securing the kill. Nice CS advantage. Mid also with an advantage. Grubs being started off by Tarzan. He's no stranger to this objective. Smite's going to come through, and I imagine he's just going to back away.
He gets one of them. Might look for a second as well. The Lantern down. Ginger will get a smite of his own.
Okay.
Getting the second, obviously taking away that objective for the feats is quite nice. Honku was low mana in the mid lane as well.
But also, Doggo had just backed, and they knew that Hope was making his way back out onto the map, so if they forced that fight, they were guaranteed to be at a numbers disadvantage. They wisely disengage. They'll give 2 grubs to 1, not the end of the world. CFO going to set their sights on the Dragon. Their mid laner did just go back to base. Doesn't have TP either. Kael going to fish with a hook and doesn't quite find it. The Sivir now making his way to the bot lane. And CFO should get this one uncontested, as we know Tarzan's on the top side of the map, but also a bunch of resets have just come through from AL.
And a bunch of question mark pings coming out towards that top tower as well from CFO. So I'm not quite sure where the enemy is. Doggo looking to push this wave in. It's a cannon wave, so actually Hope should be able to catch this, but still about a 24 CS lead right now for Doggo. That will be culled down to about 18 or so. So Super Mega Death Rocket goes just wide of Doggo and Kaiwing. Doggo now finished his Essence Reaver already, only 9 minutes into this game. Has that first completed item, foregoing boots entirely for it, Betty.
Now Shanks opting for that Rod of Ages build. We see it a lot against burst champions specifically, just providing you with that extra bit of HP, especially when Shanks wants to get into the thick of the fight. Hook will connect.
Ninja, flag and drag forward. There's the play as well, and the Lantern to bring Doggo into the party spell shield away from the Flame Chompers. And Kael flashes to relative safety underneath his tower, but now Hope needs to be a little bit cautious because he's on his own down in this bot lane for a while.
Certainly is. And Doggo has a huge amount of wave clear available.
Shanks jumping onto Honku.
Weirding goes that extra bit of HP.
Oh, between the Veil we go as Honku looks for a little bit more damage. Dashes across. The Kingslayer coming out from Shanks to heal himself up enough to survive the burst.
He got very scared there. The flash he felt was necessary to get that HP back. You can see in the extended trades, Honku is just getting the better of his opponent. Working towards the double haunting guys, as we see so often from this mid lane Aurora. And Doggo continues to move around the map. He's setting up for a play on top lane. Flandre is ultra respectful, as he is super cautious. There's the ward and immediately disengages. Wise to recognize that we've been seeing a lot of swaps, and he will not fall prey to this one.
And if you're AL, your hopes are kind of on Flandre right now. One of only 2 players on your team with a gold lead. If he can draw pressure up towards this top side, it does give free time for Hope to get back into the game a little bit. Currently about 300 gold in the hole as he pushes out this wave. Rest is here with his teleport. Flandre has one to match if he wants it. Honku's TP coming up in a second, but for CFO, forcing Flandre behind is great. Making sure that he can't get extra gold, can't get towards these big items on the Jace as Honku and Shanks trade once again in this mid lane. Shanks using that Catalyst of Aeons, getting all that extra health back as he dashes back in with the Abscond Abduct. Doesn't land the chains though. Honku trying to sidestep that extra damage. Kael. Honku has to flash the hook.
Honku using the W and just going the wrong direction. Kael reads it well, but the reflexes on him. I mean, that's 18-year-old reflexes right there.
Really
Flashes
is.
that one. And okay, I love how proactive both these supports are being on the map, constantly looking for hooks, seeing if they can convert it into a pick. Hope now swapping back towards the top lane. Doggo being sent to bot. Essence Reaver finished with the 2 daggers. Doggo in a great position as the tension continues to mount. This gold lead hasn't really extended that much more in favor of CFO.
I think it's really CFO trying to make sure that AL can't allocate the gold where they want to. Because I think Doggo into Hope would be fine. I think they'd have a whale of a time in that matchup, just Ricochet push him out, you know, make sure that he's not enjoying himself. But they keep matching Doggo into Flandre. They keep overloading Flandre's side of the map and trying to force him into disadvantageous situations. So you can see here, Hope was just top lane. He's now opening it up through bot. Flandre is the one that's going to teleport to the top when Rest had run to top to match Hope.
Well, the idea is good, but Flandre sitting still very pretty right now.
Oh yeah, he's still very
At the
happy.
very least, it's alleviated some pressure off of Rest, working towards that Frozen Gauntlet. And, Doggo, he is very safe. Has the Lantern to take him away to safety.
It's a lot of damage onto Kyle as well, who only has the Swifty Boots and the Kindle Gem right now.
Here's what I'll say. 80 carries like this, often games just become about them.
Yeah.
Like, even if CFO is winning, it takes a single kill on Jinx to completely turn a fight around.
Especially with the resets.
And the same thing for Zivit. If you just leave her alone for like 5 seconds, maybe even less, 3, and those ricochets start bouncing, they melt through a team fight. And that's like... The main reason why I love Fearless is because we do see so many different types of compositions that come through, but especially as we get later in these 80 carries, become a much bigger piece. Right now, it's hard not to turn your eyes towards Doggo, who just has been a standout. And that's not like Hope has had a bad series by any means. He started off the series with a fantastic performance himself. But Doggo in that last game, the quadra kill was just crazy from him.
His Ezreal performance, absolutely crazy. Got 2 wins on it so far at this MSI. And I think the thing for CFO is a lot of their frontline is just distraction for Doggo, right? It's you put down the Aurora ult, you put down the Cataclysm, you put down the box, and it's just all about making sure that Doggo has that time to get the ricochets down. For AL, they don't really have the tankiness to survive through those ricochets. It's Leandri's into what seems like bloodletters here for Tarzan, so he's going to be really squishy. Will do a bunch of damage, but be a little bit hard for him as Doggo is the one caught out, and he puts the spell shield, but still caught by the Flame Chompers. There's the shutdown for Hope, and he evens out that gold in the 80 carry position.
Much needed gold injection for Hope. And the combo was clean. The traps come down, and as you identified, Medic, the spell shield was on the knock-up of Kyle. So when he takes the Lantern to safety, he actually gets dragged through the traps and locked up. The flash follow-through comes from Tarzan. Big damage onto Shanks.
Shanks steals away the ultimate here, looking for the chase. Ginger in with the Cataclysm, and now Kyle's underneath that tower. Shanks tanking it as well, he'll fall. It's 2-0 so far as CFO try and continue to turn this fight around. The dive, disastrous! Hope almost falls, but he has the barrier just in time to survive through Honkyu's burst.
Junja makes a massive play for CFO there. AL think for themselves, oh, this is an isolated Honkyu, we can quickly convert this into a kill. But without any hesitation, Junja ults into the play. We'll start with this pick on mid lane. Doggo, thinking he can get a great trade onto Hope. Gets locked at the hit. The spell shield's the knock up, but then gets dragged through the traps. Gets rooted up, ends up falling, and the shutdown going over to Hope is a huge goal injection. Then they say, well, we've got 4 members. Honkyu is isolated in the bot lane, but then the ulti onto Kyle, knowing that he doesn't have his flash available, means that he gets locked up. Shanks is then quick to follow because he gets the tower aggro. And while Hope looks safe, ready to turn this fight in their favor, the damage from Honkyu was monstrous.
He is in a really strong position on this Aurora. 700 gold ahead right now. Ginger as well has finished that Sundered Sky. Double Ruby Crystal for a little bit of extra health. Pretty even game still, though, between CFO and AL here. Only 600 gold in it. Flandre, the one for AL, that really has garnered himself a gold lead through this early game. Yumu's complete on him, has the tier as well, building up towards that Manamune. 3 stacks on the Rod of Ages for Shanks. Next fight, likely to be around this Rift Herald. A lot of vision here for AL. Double control wards, double wards around it as well. As Rest gets the Intofos back here, Flandre does have to be careful if he's in the clutches of this Cassante. It's pretty easy for the Cassante just to drag you away. from where you want to be, and that's exactly what Rest is trying to do. Forces Flandre out. Flandre steps back in and will clear out these minions.
Rest should feel very comfortable in this matchup right now. It's going to be very difficult for Flandre to have any real kill threat on him. With the Herald alive.
2 items on Doggo ready.
Yep. I was just about to say, I feel like it's AL that need to be cautious, but as we've learned from this series, AL, they like to contest objectives.
Do they have a deep water TP too? Quick check.
Right now they don't.
Yeah.
Bases are going to come through from both top laners.
They both have teleport. There's one TP, but that's Hongq going up towards the top side. Flandre's going to open up through mid while his Rest is pathing down towards the bottom side. Now goes back towards that mid lane. Hongq will get the push here on the top side as CFO start up the Rift Herald.
Here we go, top laners making their way over.
No
AL
vision.
want to contest this.
Really for AL. They have one ward just over here, which gives Kael an opportunity to find a hook. He'll step forward, clears out the vision. Rest coming across. Is that Rift Herald still pretty healthy? 6,000 now. Kael still looking for that hook. There's the Nature's Grass coming out from Tarzan as AL wants to take the fight. A couple of roots going down, but between worlds goes the Aurora. Rest able to dodge away. The Lantern there as well for him. Shanks steals the Cataclysm. Riptail secured by CFO. A counter Cataclysm onto Tarzan. Not really the target you want. Doggo untouched so far. Almost eats a zap as Shanks dives back in. Flashes over the flag and Drag as Hope flashes forward as well as CFO have managed to get 4 members out. Ginger almost takes down Hope, but gives the bounty across. And CFO will manage to get out with 4 players alive.
My goodness, those health bars got very low on both sides. No one could confirm a kill for so long, but it ended up being a 1-for-1. We look back at the fight and it's Rest that's the focus. We expected this to be a front to back fight, and wisely they just target the front line. They do some seriously good damage to him, but then they've committed a lot, so now they don't really have much left for the back line. Hongq kind of dancing on that edge very dangerously, Ginger trying to provide that space for him. Then Doggo steps up saying, I want to start dishing out damage, and he does a lot. And it's Shanks diving into the back line that forces Doggo to flash away, but at this point Ginger doesn't have anything left. He's isolated, he has no way to get out, and it ends up being a 1-for-1.
But Hope picks up another bounty. He now has a gold lead over Doggo, even though he's 26 CS behind, 4 waves in their entirety. Hope's picked up the bounty off Doggo and Ginger so far this game, and he can be a difference maker here for AL. Has that Infinity Edge now complete. Hongq, on the other hand, 1,000 gold lead over Shanks. Having an absolute stormer so far. No one here to answer on the top side. AL will get their first tower of the game, but CFO have already secured a turret of their own and have those feats of strength complete.
Dragon alive. CFO quick to start this objective off. Doggo with the push in mid. The Herald there to assist with that push. Right now, AL's a little scattered. Shanks hovering on the bot side of the map, trying to find an angle in. Right now, he can't find one. The base is coming through from Tarzan, so it looks like they're just going to concede this. Tower secured as well. A gamble as the Jinx rocket comes through to try and steal, but it's not going to convert into much.
It would have been the most adventurous contest I've ever seen if AL decided to fight around that one. They'll give up the second dragon for CFO, but having got a dragon themselves, that soul not really too much of a worry right now. 2 items on Tarzan with his Bloodletter's Curse and the Liandry's complete. And it feels like, you know, CFO are in a strong position. Fight's kind of coming out towards their favor, but it's basically even between these 2 teams, especially with Hope getting those couple of bounties. He is back to a strong position on this Jinx. Flandre as well, if he gets some time to poke and prod with those accelerated shock blasts, has the Mana Mune all the way up to the Muramana and that U-moves. Atakan, possibility. Kaiwing trying to retreat, get away from that sapling so he can't be slowed. The hook from Kael. That rocket not going to grab anything. As Rest is up towards the top side right now, working his way down, doesn't have the teleport. No TP as well for Shanks. He just went back to base. Atakan started by an accelerated shock blast, but not really either team wanting to actually take the objective right now.
It's Shanks whose positioning is the most awkward. Hongyu going to go back to mid lane to clear out another wave. Now the Atakan has been started off. Another wave pushed in. The wave clear from CFO is relentless. but they recognize that this is still a very dangerous fight to take. The thing I'm recognizing with this comp from AL is they do have an inherent range advantage. With Flandre and Jinx, it's hard for CFO to necessarily play an equal front to back, simply because AL can throw down the Nature's Grasp. They can poke at you with Flandre's QE combo. They have Jinx hitting you with zaps. When the RFC comes through, she's also just going to be trying to hit you with those auto attacks and praying for a nice crit. CFO are, for all intent and purposes, a pretty short-range composition, and so they need an ambitious play from Junja, or they need a really good hook to come through from Kaiwing. I think starting off these fights is just harder for CFO, and I think that's why playing through objectives is the best way to do it. Use the objective to draw them in, and then turn it into a fight.
You want to be on those objectives first as well, because otherwise the zone control coming out from the Flame Chompers, from the Jinx, from the Blitzcrank with the hook, from the Jace as well with those accelerated shock blasts.
Because of Civez's ultimate, it's not the end of the world if they're second.
Through it, I guess.
Yeah, and because you also have like Cassante, you should feel pretty safe face checking. But I agree with you that like you don't ever really want to face check into a Blitzcrank.
It's always just the threat of the hook is always there, and if you have vision control, it's so much harder for the shock blasts to hit, for the hooks to hit. As Kyle will hook the Otacon here. There was no one backing him up, so even if he had caught Hongq, it was tentative at best. Like maybe I get a flash out, maybe I get a spell out of Hongq. The bot lane tower is really the focus for both these teams right now. CFO will keep this Otacon aggroed, at least for the time being, as AL begin to collapse here, Betty.
Bot tower finally secured. AL see the Otacon is being started. They go through the bot wave, but CFO have disengaged from it. Shanks looking to get the push. HP bars are a little low. You can look at rest. The poke now coming through from AL. They know they have the health advantage, and they should feel confident to start this one off.
Junja healing up off the Gromp a little bit. The Otacon resets.
Very tense between the two teams.
Oh, lots of pings coming out on mid, though. AL might use the fact that CFO over-invested on this bot side just to take this mid-tier 1 down.
Shanks with the level 10 on the Rod of Ages, now closing the experience gap. TP in mid lane is super dangerous.
It's rest. He should be okay. As Shanks jumps in, and he's not okay at all. Has to flash across the wall. Shanks gonna dive forward, and the Super Mega Death Rocket hits its man. I thought Cassante would be tankier as Shanks flashes in and looks for another. He'll get the double. CFO trying to react to anyone's legend, but they just weren't quick enough.
Kyle gonna sidestep the poke from Hongq. Will not connect with the ult, and Hongq throwing out the ulti himself will do very little damage. Otacon cannot be contested. And AL with a beautiful punish onto CFO. CFO, as you rightly highlighted, Medic, had just committed one too many members to the bot side of the map. Mid was completely exposed, and they should have just let the tower fall, but instead they tried to defend it. The Chompers were there, they have the numbers, and it's just a quick collapse. He flashes over the wall, but Shanks had already stolen the ulti away from Hongq, and then allows him, working with Hope, to secure that kill. He then feels confident enough to get a second. Doggo does not have the damage to melt through Shanks just yet. And that means 2 kills, a tower, and Otacon.
And it's that sort of thing that can explode a game, that can decide a game at this level. AL now with a 1.5k gold lead. CFO setting up around what would be Soul Point for them. And an Ocean Soul would be game-changing in this matchup. But AL force CFO out of the jungle. Rest is pushing through bots. Recall coming out. Shanks just short of eating that death sentence.
Shanks has bounced back very nicely in this game. And again, like CFO they're sending a lot to the bot side. They realize that they can gain access to the river, but look at how much control you're losing over mid. Hope is going to push that wave out.
They also just don't have much control of their own jungle. AL, with the wave in mid, could just say, cool, get on Soul Point, we'll take the tier 2. That's what Flandre is starting to do right now, while the rest of AL will try to collapse. Shanks, off vision on the control ward. As there's the Nature's Grasp, eaten up. Kaiwing Mikhails himself, but the hook still lands, but the Flame Chompers are down. Hongq trying to dive in. Shanks on the backline immediately, and Hope is on a killing spree. He finds one. Looking for Junja now as Doggo can't survive through Shanks. Rest goes all out, but Shanks goes golden as AL sends CFO to the morgue.
A flawless team fight from AL as they execute perfectly. Focusing down Kaiwing, making it a front to back, and drawing their attention away from Shanks on the flank. They take out 4, only Junja is left, and maybe, just maybe, he can find a steal. But AL are looking to secure the Baron here in game 4.
Have another look at this. Shanks off vision just gets that back line.
CFO are aware of it, but once this hook connects and the damage is dealt, CFO have to react. It's a good ultimate from Honkyu, but then when Shanks arrives, the fight devolves into chaos. Junja is isolated from his team. Shanks is chasing the enemy down alongside Tarzan. He pops the Zhonya's right at the last moment to stay alive as well. And you can feel these fights getting harder and harder for CFO to play.
There's still hope. They can still get back into this game. We have seen them have a comeback in game 2 where they almost took it from 8K behind, but against AL with Flandre's poke, with Hope only scaling up and with Shanks playing as well as he is on this Sylas, it is going to be so damn tricky.
I mean, this is the thing. What do you do when Hope is staring you in the face with an Infinity Edge, an LDR, and a Kraken Slayer?
Yeah.
You want Hope to be on your side.
It's true.
And right now, he and Shanks have bounced back beautifully. The early game was very rough, but Hope hasn't died yet this game. Tarzan in a similar position, and with the Baron buff, they'll now start getting closer to the base of CFO. They'll need to turtle. They have a great champion for it. Hook connects.
Another hook onto Rest. Tries to Pathmaker out, but the Flame Chompers will stop his retreat. Flandre now gets the kill. And Rest is sent to the afterlife. For AL, they can just continue to push in, and this is the defensive positioning against a Blitzcrank is so darn hard, because again, he looks for the hook. Honkyu has to use the ultimate to buffer out of it. And now he's caught up in Shanks' Cataclysm, who continues to chase forward. The Nature's Grasp coming out, Junja the one locked up. The Lantern from Kaiwing won't be taken by anyone as AL force CFO away from their inhibitor. Shanks dives in once again with the Abscond Abduct, and Junja is just trying to get away, but he's slain. A King Slayer to take down Junja. And AL will take the mid inhib, will take the top inhib as they TP in and look for the end.
AL is looking to close things out. It was a hard-fought series. They were pushed to their limit. But AL see the Nexus.
Shanks dives in, goes between worlds. The Nexus towers fall. And CFO can only watch as AL rip them to shreds. The oysters are shucked. The pandas are eating good. AL claim the series 3-1.
AL with their impressive team fighting in that final game. They weathered the storm. They bounced back through the rough early game. They didn't let the game get out of their hands. And then a single fight was all it took. They'll secure top 4 here at MSI. And they'll look to face the winner of BLG versus FlyQuest.
We'll see how far they can go coming into the tournaments as one of the favorites. I think Gen G standing slightly above. For CFO, what a performance it's been. What a year it's been so far. They will obviously be